Here's Marco Arnaldo reporting from GenCon 2016. I'm here with John, who is going to tell us about Epic Roll, a game that came out a little bit ago and that I never heard of, so I was curious to learn a little bit more about it. Thank you, John.
Yep, no problem. So this is Epic Roll. Epic Roll is a 2 to 3 player game. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes to play a game, and the players can choose to play as the wizard, the warrior, or the elf, and then you race each other down the board to see who can get to the lich and defeat them first. So the first, you go top to bottom, and it's basically a dungeon crawl, press your luck kind of game. And basically, you're going to go top to bottom. The wizard's going to go first. He's going to step up to this first combat here. And what you're going to do is you're going to roll the monster encounter die first to see who you're going to fight against. So I'll roll this here. You see I got a skeleton, and the monster names correlate to their different hit points. So a skeleton has 5 life, so you set that to 5. Heroes always start their turn at 6 life. And then what you're going to do is you're going to roll the monster attack die and the hero attack die, and you're going to roll those together at the same time. So there, I got a hit and the monster got a hit. So we mark 1 off on the monster and 1 off on me, and you continue to roll until someone either dies or the hero decides to run away. So the monster hit me for 1 there, and he hit me for another. It's not looking good for the wizard. 1 and 1. I get a double hit on him, single hit on me. It's 1 to 1. And that would actually kill me and send me back to the start. Now, assuming that I had won the battle and I was still at 3 life, I would get a treasure card. There's 4 different treasure cards that you can get in the game. There's the hit card, which hits the monster for 1 point of damage. There's the block, which absorbs an entire attack coming at you. There's the heal, which heals you for 1 hit point. And there's a counter. The counter can be played at any time. When one of your opponents tries to play one of these cards, you use the counter to block that card. So at that point,
very important for people that fear that games like this are not interactive. There are ways of getting in other players' way and
exactly, it lets you interact with the other players when it's not your turn. So at that point, I will say that I won that combat and I'm at 3 life, and I just drew a shield card or a block card. So then I would have to decide: do I want to press my luck and go to that next combat staying at 3 life, or would I want to stop my turn right there, pass control to the next player, and then when it comes back to my turn, I go back to full life.
Excellent. So the life is regenerated between turns, but not between battles.
Exactly. Exactly. So for the first 3 battles here, if you do end up dying, you're going to go back to the start. You also discard your hand if you die. If you can win this 3rd battle, however, you get a free move to the level up checkpoint. From that point forward, for the next 4 battles, if you do die, you only go back to the checkpoint. Also, when you step across there, you no longer use the basic dice. Now you're going to use the advanced dice. You get some tougher monsters to fight against. So I rolled a ghost here. So you set this to ghost. Heroes again start their turn at 6 life. And you're going to roll your hero die. You're going to roll the advanced monster attack die, which now has a double hit. It's a little bit tougher. And you also get the hero ability die. Each hero rolls the same die, but the effect changes depending on the character. So you can see here that for Gref the Wizard, when he rolls that, it's a force field, and he absorbs all the damage coming at him. For Auric, it's a healing potion, and he heals 1 to himself. And for Dara, it's a magic arrow, and she does 1 point of damage to the monster she's fighting against. So at that point, you're going to be rolling 3 dice in the game. So there, I got a hit, and the monster got a hit, but I got my force field. That would absorb all of that damage. Even if the monster got a double hit, that would absorb all of that damage, and I would still do 1 point of damage to him. That's going to be for the next 3 battles here. Now, if I can win this 3rd battle, I get to go to the Lich. Not only does the Lich start with 9 life, he also gets his own ability die. And his ability die allows him to heal 1 point of damage to himself. So then you're going to roll 4 dice. That's the most you roll in the game. And you try not to roll that purple star. That's the bad one. So, of course, I rolled the purple star.
How many are there?
There's 2 on this die and 2 on this die. So a 33% chance of rolling each star.
I'm doing this just because otherwise the star is invisible.
Sure, no problem. So his heal would actually negate that damage, but if I had rolled a double, it would only mitigate 1 damage and he would still take a point. And if course, if I rolled a blank, he would heal 1, but you can never heal beyond your initial starting level. So that's a quick overview of the basic game. We also have the veteran rules, which you get for free with the game, and that's what these cards over here represent. And you'll see that there's a couple additional abilities on each of these cards that we haven't discussed yet. So when you're playing the game, normally your maximum hand size is 3 cards. Gref has the ability Arcane Research, which allows him to have another card, so he can actually have 4 cards in his hand. And each of the characters also has an activate ability. This allows them to tap and fire off an effect once per turn, and then at the start of their next turn, they ready up again. So for Gref, his ability is called Melt Face. You use that during another player's turn. You wait until they're in the middle of combat fighting a monster, and when you want to get involved, you can tap your guy and do a point and roll this die. And if you roll a star on there, you can do a point of damage to the hero when they're fighting the monster to try to kill them or at least set them back in their combat. Also, when you're fighting against the skeleton or the banshee, which is the toughest guy on the tier 1 die or the tier 2 die, you're going to get 2 treasure cards instead of the normal 1. Tougher monsters give you more treasure. Then also, Auric has the ability that every time he rolls the encounter die, that if he doesn't like that initial result, he can choose to re-roll it. He has to take that second result though. His activated ability is similar in that if an opponent rolls a monster he doesn't want him to fight, he can tap and force his opponent to re-roll that encounter and hopefully get something more difficult.
More interaction.
Yeah, more interaction between the players. So if I'm fighting the Lich here, and I get the Lich to 6 life, but I'm down to 2 life, and I decide this battle's going very poorly and I want to escape, a hero can try to run away. You can do this at any point against any monster, and what you do is you roll the monster attack die once by itself. If you can survive that hit, you can back up 1 space, and then that ends your turn, but you can save the cards in your hand and your board position. Dara has the ability to slip away, which allows her to run away from a combat without having to roll that die. Her activated ability is similar in that if an opponent gets away from combat, she can tap this. She can tap her card to force the opponent to re-roll his escape and hopefully get them to die in that second attempt.
They are blowing a horn next boot. I don't know what that is for, but that's a horn.
The only other thing the veteran pack adds is the focused abilities. So if you do 2 hits at the same time, it'll actually do 3 damage to the monster you're fighting against. If you do 2 heals, it'll heal 3 hit points to you. Or if you do 2 blocks, not only do you block the damage, you reflect it onto the monster. And if you do 2 counters, not only do you counter that spell, you get to take that spell into your own hand. So that's a quick overview of Epic Roll. The only other thing that we have is we have a special promo card that we're giving away at conventions, which allows you to choose between a hit or a counter. So you get to put this in the rest of the treasure deck, and when this comes up, every time you play it, you can choose which way you want to play it.
Sounds excellent. Thank you for this very informative introduction of Epic Roll, available at GenCon 2016. And for those who cannot make it here, where can they
On
find the
our
game?
website and stores, we're available through all distribution as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.